In the spectacle-driven landscape of modern boxing, where charisma often masks mediocrity and noise frequently overshadows nuance, there exists a fighter whose silence is deafening. Naoya Inoue does not traffic in theatrics. He does not scream for attention or beg for viral moments. Instead, he carries himself with an almost unnerving calm, letting his fists do the talking and his precision dictate the terms. He is not just respected, he is feared. Not merely admired, but studied. And in a sport that thrives on extremes, he has become the rarest of hybrids, a clinical technician with the power of a wrecking ball and the mind of a grandmaster. Nicknamed the Monster, Inoue has earned that moniker not through branding or hype, but through an unwavering consistency in dismantling world-class opponents with surgical efficiency. He has turned violence into craft and brutality into a blueprint. Emerging from Japan's boxing scene, a region historically underappreciated by Western audiences, Inoue has forced his way into global prominence not by pandering to market trends, but by redefining them. Inoue is a paradox, a quiet storm, a respectful executioner, a soft-spoken symbol of domination. His journey did not begin in desperation or on the fringes of society, like so many of boxing's traditional origin stories. Born in Zama, a city in Japan's Kanagawa prefecture, Inoue entered the sport through legacy rather than necessity. His father, Shingo Inoue, a former amateur boxer, became both his coach and his compass. The elder Inoue instilled discipline early, laying the foundation for a fighter who would learn to master fundamentals before flair and substance before spectacle. In the Inoue household, boxing wasn't just a sport, it was a curriculum. From a young age, it was evident that Naoya saw the ring differently. While other children his age struggled to coordinate combinations or maintain balance, Inoue demonstrated a fluidity that seemed innate. His footwork had rhythm. His reflexes were anticipatory, not reactive. He wasn't just participating, he was deciphering. During his amateur career, he compiled a record of 75 wins against only 6 losses, but the numbers only tell part of the story. What separated Inoue even then was not his power or speed, though both were already notable. It was his poise. He made calculated decisions. He minimized mistakes. He approached fights like puzzles, not brawls. By the time he turned professional in 2012, the expectations were high, yet Inoue seemed indifferent to pressure. While most up-and-coming fighters take a conservative route, facing journeymen and fringe contenders in carefully orchestrated progressions, Inoue chose a different path, one marked by danger, not caution. Just 6 fights into his pro career, he challenged Adrian Hernandez for the WBC light flyweight title. Hernandez was no pushover. He was the reigning champion and considered a seasoned, tough competitor. But Inoue treated the occasion like any other day at the office. He overwhelmed Hernandez in just 2 rounds, capturing his first world title and obliterating the sport's unwritten rules about how prospects should be developed. That early success was not an anomaly. It was a signal. Inoue wasn't interested in navigating the sport's politics or protecting an unblemished record with soft touches. He wanted to prove something, not just that he was better, but that he was on a different level. And he would go on proving that again and again as he climbed through the weight classes with the same composure and ruthlessness. At every division, light flyweight, super flyweight, bantamweight, and now super bantamweight, Inoue has been a disruptor. Not only has he collected titles, but he has also made champions look ordinary. He doesn't just win, he deflates. He deconstructs. Fighters with years of experience and decorated resumes suddenly find themselves lost, second-guessing every move, disoriented by a man who seems to always be in the right place at the right time. That, perhaps, is Inoue's greatest strength. It's not his speed or power, it's his positioning, his sense of timing, his ability to control the geography of the ring. Inoue's attack is a study in intention. He doesn't waste energy. Every jab is a probe. Every right hand is a calculation. He doesn't chase knockouts, nor does he impose chaos. Instead, he cultivates it. He creates openings by manipulating his opponent's reactions, luring them into predictable behaviors and then punishing them for their habits. What looks like violence in real time is actually architecture in motion. He breaks down defenses like an engineer dismantling a structure, bolt by bolt, until there is nothing left holding it up. Defensively, Inoue is just as refined. He doesn't rely on flashy movements or exaggerated head slips. His defense is understated, rooted in angles and anticipation. He steps just outside of range, turns just enough to deflect a blow, or simply removes the target by subtly adjusting his posture. It's not the kind of defense that draws gasps from the crowd, but it is the kind that frustrates opponents and prevents damage. In a sport where the margin for error is microscopic, Inoue's ability to stay composed and unmarked is its own form of brilliance. What makes Inoue especially remarkable is how his skill set has scaled with his weight. As he moved up from division to division, many doubted whether his physical advantages would remain intact. Could his power trouble bigger men? Would his speed diminish? Would his ring control translate against more durable opponents? The answer, resoundingly, has been yes. In fact, Inoue has only gotten sharper. The gaps in talent that were already wide in the lighter divisions seemed even more exaggerated as he faced larger foes. His knockouts became even more emphatic. His dominance, more complete. Against Nonito Donaire, a veteran with Hall of Fame credentials and a reputation for toughness, Inoue encountered genuine adversity. The fight, often cited as a turning point in his narrative, tested not just his talent but his heart. Inoue suffered a fractured orbital bone during the bout but fought through the pain to secure a unanimous decision victory. It was a rare moment where he was visibly pushed to the edge, yet even then he never panicked. And when he faced Donaire again in a rematch, the outcome was decisive. Inoue dispatched him in 2 rounds, flipping the script with a performance that demonstrated both evolution and superiority. That rematch wasn't just about vengeance, it was about progress. It revealed what makes Inoue different from his peers, his ability to learn not from defeat but from success. He's not satisfied with simply winning. He refines, he studies, he emerges from victory with the same hunger as if he had lost. Each fight is a data set. Each camp is a research lab. He treats boxing like a living science, and he is both its student and its scholar. This intellectual approach to combat has caught the attention of the sport's most revered names. Manny Pacquiao, a fellow legend from Asia, and the only 8-division champion in boxing history, has labeled Inoue the best pound-for-pound fighter on the planet. Floyd Mayweather, notoriously selective in his praise, has repeatedly complimented Inoue's fundamentals and efficiency. Even American analysts, who often gravitate toward domestic fighters, have rallied behind Inoue's brilliance, acknowledging that what he does in the ring is so technically sound, it transcends borders and biases. But for all the praise and global recognition, Inoue has never lost his center. In Japan, he is more than a sports icon. He is a cultural ambassador. His fights shut down cities. His image, clean and humble, is a point of national pride. He does not flaunt wealth. He does not invite drama. Instead, he represents discipline, dedication, and mastery. Young fighters in Japan look to him not just as a champion, but as the embodiment of what is possible when preparation meets purpose. Internationally, his appeal is surging. In markets like the United States, where smaller weight classes have historically struggled for mainstream attention, Inoue has flipped the narrative. He has turned bantamweight and super bantamweight fights into must-see events. With each bout, he brings more eyes to divisions that were once ignored, challenging the long-standing assumption that only heavyweights or welterweights could move the needle. And he has done so without compromise. No trash talk. No manufactured rivalries. Just performance. Inoue's rise has also cast a glaring light on the structural inequities in the sport. Asian fighters, despite their achievements, have often been underpromoted or overlooked on the global stage. Pound-for-pound lists have leaned heavily toward Western names. Television networks and promoters have historically dictated narratives in ways that minimized international talent. But Inoue has blown past those limitations. His greatness is too obvious to ignore, too overwhelming to downplay. He has forced a recalibration of the sport's metrics, reminding audiences that dominance, not geography, should determine legacy. As discussions grow around his next move, the possibilities are staggering. Already, a 4-division champion and undisputed at 2 of those, Inoue has nothing left to prove, but everything still to accomplish. A move to featherweight seems imminent, where new challenges await and fresh skeptics may emerge. But history suggests they'll be proven wrong, just like the last wave, because Inoue's success is not circumstantial. It is not built on size advantages or opportunistic matchmaking. It is rooted in vision, both literal and figurative. He sees things others don't. He processes faster. He adapts in real time. That adaptability, his ability to recognize patterns, spot weaknesses, and pivot within rounds, is the hallmark of genius. And if he conquers featherweight, if he manages to dominate yet another weight class, the debate will not just be about his place among the greats of this era. It will be about his place among the greatest to ever lace up gloves. There are already those who consider him the best fighter in Asia's rich boxing history. With each win, the argument for him being one of the top 5 fighters pound for pound in the history of the sport gains weight. And yet, perhaps what makes Naoya Inoue most remarkable is how little of this seems to matter to him. He doesn't chase recognition. He doesn't plead for legacy, he simply fights. And in doing so, he redefines what it means to be elite. His resume is not padded. He's fought champions. He's unified divisions. He's walked toward danger. And he's done it all without shortcuts, controversies, or compromise. In a fractured sport riddled with politics and posturing, Inoue offers coherence. In a corrupt business where favoritism and nepotism often determine outcomes, he offers merit. And in a noisy, cluttered media landscape, he offers silence, the kind that follows the sound of something indisputable. Not just the silence that comes after a knockout, but the silence that comes when an audience, regardless of language or loyalty, recognizes mastery. That is what Naoya Inoue has given boxing: a mirror, a reminder, a standard. He is the monster, yes, but also the maestro. The one who doesn't just win, but who teaches. The one who doesn't just dominate, but who elevates. And as the chapters of his career continue to unfold, we are witnessing not just greatness in motion, but history being written in real time.